Welcome to Love Lies Chronicles.
The Mustang's engine purrs under my hands at 6 in the morning. 1967 fastback, Wimbledon white with blue racing stripes. Mrs. Chin bought it for her late husband 40 years ago, and now she wants it running again. For the memories, she said, tears in her eyes. I get that. Some things are worth saving. My garage is quiet this early, just me and the cars and the smell of oil and possibility. This is where I make sense. Where broken things become whole again, where my hands know exactly what to do. I've been here since 5:30, same as every day for the past 8 years since I bought this place. Every day with you is a regret. The voice cuts through the morning like a blade. I know without looking up that Christine is standing in the doorway, probably in her business suit, probably checking her phone while she delivers today's dose of poison. I straighten slowly, wiping my hands on the red shop rag I keep in my back pocket. Turn to face my wife of 12 years. She's dressed for her assistant manager position at the marketing firm, hair perfect, makeup flawless, looking at me like I'm something stuck to her shoe. Then let's end them today. The words come out calm, matter of fact, like I'm telling her the oil needs changing. Her face goes white, just completely white. The phone slips in her manicured fingers. What? You heard me. Let's end them. Today. You ever see someone's whole world shift in real time? That's what happens to Christine's face. The confident sneer melts into something I haven't seen in years. Fear. Ray, I didn't. Yes, you did. I dropped the rag on the workbench. You meant every word. Same as you meant it yesterday when you told your sister I was holding you back. Same as last week when you introduced me to your boss as just a mechanic. She takes a step back. That's not. Christine. My voice stays level. Every day with me is a regret. You said it. I believe you. So let's fix it. I walk past her toward the house. She follows, heels clicking on the concrete like rapid gunfire. 12 years. You think about that number and it feels heavy, like carrying a transmission up a flight of stairs. We met in night school. She was getting her business degree. I was taking accounting for small business owners. She sat 2 seats behind me in financial management, always had her hand up, always had the right answer. First time I talked to her was in the parking lot after class. She was standing by her broken-down Honda, hood up, looking lost. Need help? I asked. She looked me up and down. Work boots, jeans with grease stains, hands that showed what I did for a living. You know cars. A little. 20 minutes later, her alternator was working again. She bought me coffee at the 24-hour diner down the street. We talked until 3 in the morning. She told me about growing up poor, about wanting more than what her parents had. I told her about inheriting my dad's tools, about the dream of owning my own shop someday. You're different, she said that night. Quiet. Like you know something the rest of us don't. Maybe I just know what I want. She smiled. What's that? To fix things. Make them better than they were. 2 years later, we got married at the courthouse. Small ceremony, just family. She wore a simple white dress. I wore the only suit I owned. We were broke, but happy. At least, I thought we were. The house feels different now as I walk through it. Not like home, more like evidence. Evidence of 12 years spent trying to be enough for someone who was always looking for more. I pull out a legal pad from the kitchen drawer, sit at the table where we used to eat dinner together. Back when she still came home at a reasonable hour. Back when she still asked about my day. Christine hovers in the doorway, still in shock. Ray, we need to talk about this. We are talking. I write assets at the top of the page. House is worth about $220. We owe $160 on the mortgage. You can't just. Garage is mine. Bought it with my inheritance. It's in my name only. I keep writing. Your car, my truck. Savings account has about $18,000. She sits down across from me, finally understanding this isn't some emotional outburst she can wait out. Ray, please. We can work this out. I look up. Her eyes are starting to water, but I don't feel the usual urge to comfort her. That instinct died somewhere around the 100th time she made me feel small. How? What? How can we work this out? What would that look like? She opens her mouth, closes it, tries again. We could go to counseling. So you can tell a stranger how disappointed you are in your husband? How you married beneath yourself? I shake my head. I'm done being your project, Christine. I'm done being your regret. The tears start for real now. I never said you were my regret. Every day with me is a regret. Those were your exact words. 5 minutes ago. She flinches like I hit her. I was angry. No, you were honest. For maybe the first time in years. I remember the turning point. When she stopped being proud of me and started being ashamed. It was gradual, like rust eating through metal. Started around year 4 of our marriage, when she got promoted to junior account manager. Suddenly, my work clothes were embarrassing. My friends were limited. My dreams were small-town thinking. The barbecue at my brother Miguel's house 2 months ago. That's when I knew for sure we were over, even if I wasn't ready to admit it yet. Miguel's got 3 kids, works construction, married his high school sweetheart Rosa. They've got that easy way together, finishing each other's sentences, laughing at inside jokes. Christine showed up an hour late, already irritated. Complained about the drive, the neighborhood, the smell of Miguel's work clothes. Rosa had made her famous enchiladas. Everyone was having a good time. Christine sat apart, checking her phone, making it clear she didn't want to be there. Miguel's youngest, Sophia, came running up to me with a broken toy car. "Tio Ray, can you fix it?" I was kneeling on the grass, showing Sophia how the wheel mechanism worked, when Christine's voice cut across the yard. "Leave Uncle Ray alone, honey. He already spends enough time playing with toys." The whole backyard went quiet. Miguel's face went dark. Rosa put her hand on his arm, holding him back. I stayed kneeling, kept my voice gentle for Sophia. "It's not playing if you're learning something. Right, Mija?" Sophia nodded seriously. "Right." But the damage was done. Christine had made sure everyone knew what she thought of me, of my work, of the life we'd built together, or the life I'd built while she planned her escape. Later, as we were leaving, Rosa grabbed my arm. "Ray, you're a good man. Don't let anyone make you think different." I hugged her, this woman who'd welcomed me into their family, who saw value in honest work and simple pleasures. "Thanks, Rosa." Christine didn't speak to me the whole drive home. The next morning, she started looking at apartments online. "Ray," Christine's voice brings me back to the present. "I know I've been difficult lately, but we can fix this." I look at her across our kitchen table, this woman I loved, who I thought loved me back. At least loved who I was, not who she wanted me to become. You can't fix what's determined to stay broken. What's that supposed to mean? It means you don't want to be married to a mechanic. You want to be married to someone else. Someone with a college degree and clean fingernails and friends who can help your career. I tapped the pen against the legal pad. Problem is, that's not who I am. And I'm tired of apologizing for it. She's crying harder now, but it feels like performance. Like she's trying to get the reaction she usually gets when she cries. But that well is dry. What about everything we built together? What did we build? You mean this house you constantly complain about? The marriage where you haven't touched me in 6 months? The life where you introduce me to people like I'm your embarrassing relative? She doesn't have an answer for that. I keep writing numbers. It's actually pretty simple when you break it down. 12 years reduced to a list of assets and debts, bank accounts and mortgage statements. The arithmetic of a failed marriage. Danny's been asking if I'm okay. I say without looking up. Danny's worked for me for 3 years, good kid with a wife and baby on the way. Sees more than he says. You know what I tell him? Christine shakes her head. I tell him I'm fine. But you know what? I'm not fine. I haven't been fine in years. I just got used to not being fine. Got used to walking on eggshells in my own house. Got used to having my wife act like she's doing me a favor by staying married to me. Ray, you remember when I bought the garage? When Mr. Patterson finally decided to retire and I got the loan? Of course I remember. You didn't come to the closing. Said you had a work thing. I did have. You had lunch with your girlfriends. I saw the pictures on Facebook. I finally look up at her. Biggest day of my professional life, and you couldn't be bothered. But you made sure to post about the new restaurant you tried. She has the decency to look ashamed. I'm sorry. Are you? Or are you sorry I found out? The clock on the microwave ticks loud in the silence. 7:15 a.m. On a normal day, Christine would be leaving for work soon. I'd be opening the garage, greeting Danny, starting on the day's repairs. Normal routine in an abnormal life. I don't understand how we got here, she says quietly. I do. I set down the pen, lean back in my chair. You got promoted, started making decent money, started seeing what other people had, started comparing. Your boss drives a BMW. His wife doesn't work. Your friend Sarah married that lawyer. They go on cruises twice a year. Your sister lives in that fancy subdivision, sends her kids to private school. It's not about money. It's exactly about money and status and being embarrassed that your husband owns a garage instead of a law firm. I stand up, walk to the coffee maker, pour myself a cup with steady hands. You want to know the truth, Christine? I like my life. I like fixing things, solving problems with my hands. I like earning an honest living and going to bed tired. I like that Mrs. Chun trusts me with her husband's car, that the Martinez family brings me all 7 of their vehicles, that half the neighborhood knows they can count on me. But it's so limited. There it is, the word she's been dancing around for years. Limited. I taste the coffee, black like I've always drunk it. You know what's limited? Spending your life wishing you were someone else. Spending your days resenting the person who loves you because they're not helping you climb some imaginary ladder. It's not imaginary. There are opportunities. For you. Not for us. For you. I turn to face her. When's the last time you asked about my day and actually listened to the answer? She opens her mouth, closes it. When's the last time you seemed proud of me for anything? Her face crumples. Ray, I am proud. No, you're not. You're embarrassed. And I'm tired of making you feel that way just by existing. The morning sun slants through the kitchen window, lighting up the breakfast nook where we used to sit together on Sundays, reading different sections of the newspaper, passing the comics back and forth. When did we stop doing that? When did Sunday mornings become just another day to avoid each other? What if I quit? She says suddenly. Quit what? The job. What if I quit the job and we started over somewhere else? I study her face. She means it, or thinks she does. But I can see the panic underneath. The desperate bargaining of someone who just realized they pushed too far. You'd hate me even more, I say gently. You'd blame me for making you give up your career. For making you settle. It would just take longer to get back to this same place. You don't know that. I do know that. Because I know you. I sit back down, pick up the pen. The house goes on the market this week. You keep your car and half the savings. I keep the truck and the garage. We split the proceeds from the house after we pay off the mortgage. She's staring at the legal pad like it's a bomb. You're really doing this. We're doing this. You started it this morning. I'm just finishing it. I didn't mean. Yes, you did. My voice stays calm, but there's steel underneath now. You meant it every time you rolled your eyes at my work clothes. You meant it every time you changed the subject when someone asked what I do for a living. You meant it every time you looked at me like you drew the short straw in life. She's sobbing now, but I don't reach for her. That muscle memory is finally dead. I was angry. She manages between tears. I say things when I'm angry. You say things when you think you're safe. When you think I'll just take it because I always have. I stand again, walk to the window. My truck sits in the driveway, reliable as sunrise. Behind it, the garage where I've built something good. Something honest. But you went too far this morning. Called our whole marriage a regret. 12 years. Regret. I didn't mean the whole marriage. Every day with me is a regret. That's what you said. Every single day. I turn back to her. Well, congratulations. Today's the last day you'll have to regret. The fight goes out of her all at once. She slumps in her chair, makeup running, business suit wrinkled. For a moment, she looks like the girl I met in night school. Scared and young, and trying too hard to be something she wasn't sure she could be. But that moment passes. Has to pass. Because that girl wasn't real, or if she was real, she's been gone a long time. What happens now? She asks. Now you call in sick to work. We drive to Martinez law office. Yeah, the irony isn't lost on me, and we file the papers. No fault divorce, uncontested. We're both adults. We can handle this like adults. Martinez. Miguel's cousin. He does family law. I allow myself a small smile. Turns out having a big family comes in handy sometimes. She flinches at that too. Another thing she's resented over the years. My close-knit family, their loud Sunday dinners, their acceptance of each other's flaws. She tried to limit our time with them, said they were overwhelming. Really, she was jealous of what we had. The unconditional love she'd never learned to give or receive. Ray. Her voice is small now. What if you're making a mistake? I consider this. Really consider it. What if I am wrong? What if we could find our way back to something good? But then I think about Mrs. Chun, trusting me with her most precious memory. I think about Danny's respect, Miguel's pride in his little brother who made something of himself. I think about all the people who see value in what I do, who understand that fixing things, really fixing them, takes skill and patience and love. I think about coming home to this house and not feeling like I have to apologize for existing. You know what would be a mistake? I say finally. Spending another 12 years trying to earn love from someone who's already decided I'm not worth it. She has no answer for that. Because it's true, and we both know it. By noon, it's done. Papers filed, lawyer consulted, timeline established. Surprisingly simple, dissolving a marriage. Sign here, initial there. Divide up a life like you're splitting a dinner check. Christine sits in the passenger seat of my truck as we drive home, staring out the window. She looks younger somehow, like she's been holding her breath for years and finally exhaled. I'm sorry, she says as we pull into our driveway. Not our driveway much longer. I know. Do you hate me? I think about that. Do I hate her? Anger burns clean and hot, but hate is cold and lasting. What I feel is more like relief. Like setting down a weight I'd been carrying so long I forgot it wasn't part of me. No, I don't hate you. I turn off the engine. I just don't want to be married to you anymore. She nods, wipes her eyes. I'll pack some things. Stay at Sarah's for a while. Good. We sit in the truck for another moment, neither of us moving. 12 years of marriage ending in the cab of a Ford F-150. Afternoon sun warming the windshield. Ray, yeah, you're a good man. I know I made you think different sometimes, but you are. It's the kindest thing she said to me in months. Maybe years. Thanks. She gets out of the truck, walks toward the house to pack her immediate necessities. I sit for a minute longer, listening to the engine tick as it cools down, thinking about the work waiting for me at the garage. Mrs. Chin's Mustang, the transmission in Martinez's pickup, the brake job on the Kowalski's sedan. Good work. Honest work. Work that matters to people who trust me with their problems. I head back to the garage. Danny's there when I walk in, bent over the engine of a '98 Camry that's seen better days. Afternoon, boss. How was lunch? Productive. He glances at me, notices something different in my voice. Everything okay? Getting there. I walk to the Mustang, pop the hood, check my work from this morning. The engine looks good. Clean. All the parts working the way they're supposed to. Mrs. Chun will be happy. Boss. Danny's voice is careful. You seem, I don't know, different. I look up at this kid who's become like a little brother to me, who brings his baby daughter by the shop sometimes so she can help Tio Ray with the cars, who works hard and asks good questions and never makes me feel like what we do here is less than important. I filed for divorce today. His wrench stops moving. Shit. I'm sorry, man. Don't be. It was time. He straightens up, wiping his hands. You okay? I will be. And I mean it. For the first time in years, I mean it completely. The afternoon passes quietly. We work on the cars. Danny asks questions about the Mustang's carburetor. I show him the difference between a clean rebuild and a quick fix. The radio plays classic rock in the background, comfortable and familiar. Around 4, Mrs. Chun stops by to check on progress. She's maybe 70, tiny and fierce, been bringing her cars to me since I opened. How's my baby? She asks, patting the Mustang's fender like it's alive. She's going to purr like new. I show her the work I've done, explain what still needs attention. Should be ready by Friday. She nods, satisfied. You're a good boy, Ray. Take care of things properly. After she leaves, Danny looks over at me. She's right, you know. You do take care of things properly. Thanks, kid. Your wife ever see you work? I mean, really see you? I think about that. When's the last time Christine came to the garage? When's the last time she showed any interest in what I do here, the problems I solve, the people who count on me? No, I say finally. She didn't. Danny nods like that explains everything. Maybe it does. The sun's setting when we close up the garage. Danny heads home to his wife and baby. I lock up and walk to my truck. The house sits quiet across the small parking lot. Christine's car already gone. Inside, her coffee mug will be in the sink, her morning makeup still scattered on the bathroom counter. But it feels different already. Lighter. Like the air is easier to breathe. I stop at Miguel's house on the way home. Rosa answers the door with baby Patricia on her hip, flour in her hair from whatever she's cooking. Ray, what a nice surprise. Come in. Miguel's in the backyard with the boys. I follow her through the warm, lived-in house. Kids' artwork on the refrigerator, family photos covering every surface, the smell of something good in the oven. This is what home feels like. This is what I wanted with Christine, but never quite managed to build. Miguel looks up from the grill when I walk outside, takes one look at my face, and hands his beer to his oldest son. Mijo, watch the chicken. Don't let it burn. We walk to the far corner of the yard, away from the kids playing soccer. You did it, he says. Not a question. This morning. He nods, claps me on the shoulder. Good. Rose has been worried about you for months. I'm sorry I waited so long. Don't apologize for hoping. Makes you human. He pulls out his phone. Luis says the papers look clean. Straightforward division of assets. No kids involved. Should be finalized in 6 weeks. 6 weeks. 12 years reduced to 6 weeks of paperwork and waiting. Thanks for the referral. Family helps family. He studies my face. You look better already. I feel better. Good. You deserve better. We rejoin the family dinner. Rosa loads my plate with enough food for 3 people. The kids tell me about school and friends and their plans for summer vacation. Normal family chaos. The kind Christine always said gave her headaches. Driving home later, full of good food and surrounded by the memory of unconditional love, I think about the girl in night school who bought me coffee and talked about wanting more than what her parents had. I wanted to give her more. Wanted to be enough. But enough is a moving target for someone who doesn't know what they really want. And I finally understand that wasn't my failure. That was hers. The house is dark when I pull into the driveway. I walk through rooms that smell like her perfume, but feel empty of her presence. In the bedroom, her dresser drawers are open, closet partially cleared. She took the basics, left everything else for later sorting. I sit on the edge of the bed we haven't shared in months, looking at the picture on my nightstand. Our wedding day, both of us young and hopeful. She's laughing at something I said. I'm looking at her like she hung the stars. That man in the picture loved completely and honestly. That woman loved the idea of love, the security of marriage, the potential she saw in a patient man with steady hands. Neither of them was wrong. They just wanted different things from the same life. I take the picture and put it in the drawer, not throwing it away, just closing that chapter. Some stories don't get happy endings. Some stories just get honest ones. The next morning, I wake up at 5:30 without an alarm. Old habit. But instead of dreading the walk to the kitchen, I'm almost eager. No tension in the air, no minefield of potential criticism to navigate. I make coffee, strong and black. Stand at the kitchen window watching the sun come up over the neighborhood I've lived in for 8 years. Good neighborhood. Working people who take care of their property and look out for each other. The garage opens at 7. I unlock the doors, flip on the lights, breathe in the familiar smell of motor oil and possibility. Mrs. Chin's Mustang sits waiting, faithful as sunrise. Work that matters, problems I can solve. Danny arrives right on time, coffee in hand, and ready to learn. We work in comfortable silence, the radio playing low, both of us focused on the task at hand. Around 10, the bell above the door chimes, and Mrs. Kowalski walks in. 75 years old, drives a pristine 1994 Buick that belonged to her late husband. Brings me pierogi every Christmas, and never lets me charge her full price for anything. Ray, sweetheart, how are you? Good, Mrs. K. What can I do for you? She looks around the garage, taking in the organized tools, the clean workspace, the care I take with everything here. Your wife? She don't come around anymore. It's not a question. This neighborhood talks, and Mrs. K hears everything. No, ma'am. She doesn't. She nods like this makes perfect sense. My Stanley, God rest his soul, he always said some people are built for different things. No shame in knowing what you're built for. No, ma'am. She reaches into her enormous purse, pulls out a container of something that smells like heaven. Beef stew. You're too skinny. Mrs. K, you don't have to. Stanley was mechanic too. Worked for Ford for 40 years. Good man, honest work. She presses the container into my hands. Some women, they understand this. Some don't. After she leaves, I sit in my office eating homemade beef stew and thinking about Stanley Kowalski, who worked with his hands for 4 decades and came home every day to a woman who understood the dignity in that, who saw value in taking broken things and making them whole again. That afternoon, I call a realtor. The house goes on the market Friday. I'll find an apartment somewhere close to the garage, someplace simple and clean where I can rebuild what I want my life to look like. The days pass quickly. Work keeps me busy, and the absence of constant tension makes everything easier. I sleep better, eat better, find myself humming along with the radio. Small things, but they add up to something that feels like contentment. Christine comes by once to collect more of her belongings. We're polite with each other, careful, like diplomats negotiating the end of a war neither of us really wanted to fight. The garage looks busy, she says, loading boxes into her friend Sarah's SUV. It is. Word of mouth is good for business. She pauses, seems like she wants to say something else. Finally settles on, I'm glad. Me too. After they leave, I walk through the house one more time, imagining how it will feel to hand over the keys, to close this chapter completely. It doesn't hurt the way I thought it would. Mostly, it feels like finishing a difficult job. Satisfaction mixed with relief. 6 weeks later, the papers are final. Christine keeps her maiden name. I keep the garage and the life I built with my own hands. We're civil at the courthouse, shake hands like business associates concluding a deal. Walking out into the summer afternoon, I feel lighter than I have in years. Free in a way I'd forgotten was possible. That evening, I sit on the small deck behind my new apartment, drinking a beer and watching the sunset. Tomorrow is Saturday, but I'll probably go to the garage anyway. Mrs. Chin's Mustang is ready for pickup, and there's a satisfaction in delivering good work on time. My phone buzzes. Text message from an unknown number. Ray? This is Lena, Christine's friend from work. I heard about the divorce. I know this is probably inappropriate, but if you ever want to grab coffee and talk to someone who saw what was happening, no pressure. Just thought I'd offer. I stare at the message for a long time. Lena, the quiet one at Christine's office parties, the one who always seemed uncomfortable when Christine made jokes at my expense, the one who asked thoughtful questions about my work and actually listened to the answers. I type back, I'd like that. Coffee sounds good. Her response comes quickly. Great. How about tomorrow afternoon? There's a nice place near downtown. See you there. I put the phone down and finish my beer. Watch the last of the sunlight fade behind the buildings. Tomorrow I'll have coffee with a woman who saw me clearly when my own wife couldn't. Monday I'll open the garage and do work that matters to people who trust me. It's a simple life. Limited, maybe, in the way Christine meant. But it's honest. It's mine. And for the first time in years, that feels like enough. You can't fix what's determined to stay broken, but you can stop letting it break you. And sometimes, that's all the victory you need.
Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments, and do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.